वेरी वेरी गुड मॉर्निंग टू ऑल ऑफ यू। सभी का स्वागत है, वेलकम है और नव वर्ष की बहुत सारी शुभकामनाएं। 2024 आपके जीवन में वो सारी सफलता लेकर के आए कि आप चाहत में हैं, जो आपकी डिजायर है आपके सारी पूरी हो। यही नव वर्ष की हमारी शुभकामनाएं हैं आप सभी को, हमारे सारे व्यूअर्स को, हमारे सारे डियर स्टूडेंट्स को। इन टुडेज क्लास आई एम गोइंग टू डिस्कस द सिलेबस ऑफ नेशनल एलिजिबिलिटी test, popularly called NET. And this examination is conducted for junior research fellowship and assistant professors examination. Right? Assistant professor examinations means it is a qualifying test for assistant professors. If you want to be an assistant professor, or if you are interested in doing PhD, you are interested in teaching in universities or in colleges, then having NET is mandatory. To qualify, NET is mandatory, right? And for that examination, what should you do and what should you not do, what should be read and what should not be read, ये जानना बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है, बहुत जरूरी है कि क्या पढ़ना है तो क्या क्या नहीं पढ़ना है, ये इक्वली इंपॉर्टेंट। And in today's video, I will discuss the 10 units of the prescribed syllabus along with the recommended books that you need to go through if you want to clear the examination. And my best wishes are with you. You should qualify the examination in this year. Let's see what is in syllabus one by one. All of you are ready to enjoy it. Yes. English literature, and the subject code is 30. This is the picture of mine. Once upon a time, I used to be a young man. This is the syllabus unit wise. Here are total 10 units in your syllabus. First unit is of drama, second poetry, third fiction and short story, and the fourth one is of non-fiction. Drama, poetry, fiction and short story, and then non-fictional prose. And from these 4 units, questions will be asked. The first 4 units must also be tested through comprehension passages to assess critical reading, critical thinking, and writing. Critical reading, point number 1. Point number 2, comprehension. And point number 3, writing skills. There are 3 categories in unit 4. Number 1, comprehension passages to assess your critical reading. How do you read a passage? To assess your critical thinking power and the writing skills. And these 4 units will cover all literatures in English, not English literature, but literatures in English. And when it is written here that literatures in English, it means English literature, American literature, African literature, Caribbean literature, Australian literature, Indian literature, French literature, Italian literature, means whatever is written in English or whatever has been translated into English, सब part है आपके syllabus का. You could assess, just you could imagine the length and width of the syllabus, nothing is left. Drama, poetry, fiction and short stories, and then non-fiction, non-fictional prose. What is drama? What is poetry? What is fiction? What is short story? What is non-fictional prose? I'll be discussing all these points further, right? And the remaining 6 units, these are the remaining 6 units of the syllabus. Unit number 5 deals with language and basic concepts. Language and basic concepts. Theories regarding language, linguistic theories. Pedagogy, how to teach, and for examples, the theory of Noam Chomsky. Competence and performance. Universal grammar, the theories propounded by Ferdinand de Saussure, Lang and Parole. Pedagogy, English in use. Unit 6, English in India. How English came to India? When was it developed? Who were the progenitors behind the spread of English in India? When English was introduced in Indian schools as the medium of instruction, what was the purpose behind the introduction of English in India? Its history, how it evolved, and what is the future of English in India? That is unit number 6. Unit number 7 deals with cultural studies. Unit number 8, literary criticism, and unit number 9, literary theory post World War. World War II. Unit number 10, research methods and materials in English. Post World War theories like deconstruction, post colonialism, like feminism, radical feminism, third wave feminism, eco criticism, new historicism. These are the theories that were developed after World War II, starting from the theater of absurd existential theories. So these are the syllabus. Right? In literary criticism, you have to start from Plato, not from exactly Plato, but from Socrates. Socrates, Plato, Aristotle, Longinus, Horace, Virgil. Then you have come to Renaissance. In Renaissance, दांते भी हैं इटालियन में, Renaissance में Stephen Goshen, Sir Philip Sidney, and there are a number of literary critics during the time of Queen Elizabeth, and then Ben Jonson, then Dr. John Dryden, and after John Dryden you have Alexander Pope, and then Dr. Samuel Johnson, and then Matthew Arnold, Wordsworth, Coleridge, Shelley, Keats even, right, William Hazlitt, Charles Lamb. Then you have Matthew Arnold as a poet critic, you have T.S. Eliot. So starting from Socrates to T.S. Eliot, this is the part of this unit, that is unit number 8, literary criticism. Right, so these are the units of your syllabus, right, merely units. And now you will go deep into first unit 1 is drama, and here you will study how drama evolved. What is the essence of drama? What are the parts of drama? How a drama is made of, and how many types of drama are there, starting from Bharat Muni's Natya Shastra to the theater of absurd, kitchen sink drama, comedy of Minas, post war के बाद की जो ये plays हैं, right, एंग्री यंग मैन मूवमेंट, ये सब आपको पढ़ने होते हैं ड्रामा के फेज। कहां से आप शुरू करेंगे? यू विल स्टार्ट फ्रॉम एस्किलस, फादर ऑफ ट्रेजेडी, सोफोक्लिस, then Euripides, then the two popular comedians of the classical literature, of Greek literature. कौन से? One is the father of old comedy and the other is father of new comedy, right? And from Aristophanes and Menander respectively. From there you will come to England, you will come to Latin literature. In Latin you have Seneca and Terence, Plautus, and then in Italy, a particular form of comedy was developed called Commedia dell'arte, and from Italy now you will come to England, and in England you have morality plays, miracle plays, mystery plays, chronicle plays, interludes, then Elizabethan tragedies, popularly known Shakespearean tragedies, and then Shakespearean comedies, romantic comedies, then comedy of humors, then comedy of manners or artificial comedies or sentimental, anti-sentimental comedies, right, city comedies, and from restoration period now to the next period, right. So this is a way, right, these are the eras. These eras make comedies, tragedies were developed. And then in 20th century, theater of the absurd, comedy of Minas, agitprop, theater of cruelty, right? These are various types of plays during the 20th century. इन सब को आपको करना है, राइट? इन सब को आपको अपने सिलेबस में करना है और इन सब से क्वेश्चंस आपके पेपर में आते हैं। ओरिजिन ऑफ ड्रामा मैं कैसे पढ़ाता हूं, दिस इज माय स्ट्रेटजी एंड along with the theory you will come across the questions. Origin of drama in India: Shiva, Brahma, Parvati, Apsaras and Gandharvs, Bharat Muni's sons, Usha, जो भरत मुनि ने दिखाया है। These are the essence of drama, 9 sentiments in नाट्य शास्त्र, जिसको आप रस कहते हो: erotic, terrible, odious, comic, heroic, marvelous, pathetic, furious and peace. And origin of drama in Greece: how drama developed in Greece, how in honor of Dionysus people started writing dithyramb, and how dithyramb से ये कैसे बनता है full fledged drama, who added the first actor to the chorus, who added the second actor, who added the third actor, and how did Mr. Aristotle theorize drama in his popular work, in his most important work, prominent work, the Poetics, right? Dithyramb, from Dithyramb, these are the triumvirs of Greek drama: Aeschylus, who wrote in 5th and 6th century BC, then Sophocles, and then Euripides, and then comedy and tragedy, right? And then we will come to Roman plays. This is the image of Seneca, and you know that entire Elizabethan drama, Elizabethan tragedy especially, was inspired by this writer Seneca, Senecan tragedy, right? And the play written by Elizabethan dramatists, initially tragedies, चाहे वो गॉर्बेडक हो, चाहे वो स्पेनिश ट्रेजेडी हो, चाहे वो हैमलेट हो, वो सब यहाँ से इंस्पायर्ड है. And this is the comic and tragic, two different forms of Roman plays. That comic forms were developed by Terence and Plautus, and tragic form was developed by Mr. Seneca. And then these are the types of plays in Roman literature: fabulae, crepidate, Atellin farce, fabula palatia, fabula praetexta, fabula saltata, and fabula tragica. And I will discuss all these points in my class. Then the stock characters. Stock characters क्या होते हैं, round characters क्या होते हैं, flat characters क्या होते हैं, right? ये types of characters हैं. Though these characters were developed in Greek and Latin plays. And in Romans, these were the masks. Characters used to wear the mask, and through the mask we could recognize, we could identify who the character is. यही stock characters होते हैं. Roman comedies, Plautus and Terence. And from Roman we come to Italian. Italian comedy is known as Commedia dell'arte. It was basically a street comedy. It was performed in the streets. It was not performed on fixed stage. And these were the masks formed by the Italian characters. And from Italy we come to Globe, we come to England. This is the theatre Globe, popularly known as Shakespeare's theatre. And then this is Shakespeare, no definition is required. Then Shakespeare's plays, Shakespeare's types of plays: history plays, tragedies, comedies, problem plays, romances, tragic comedies, love tragedies, masks, and then how he originated, how he wrote his plays, what are Shakespeare's techniques, and which character, which critic criticized him, which critic appreciated him, what is his contribution, and why is he so popular even today. These are the points that you have to cover. Use of prose, use of blank verse, classical unborrowings, impact of university wits and his differences, and then anti-Stratfordian theory. There are a few critics, there are a few writers who think that there was no one like William Shakespeare, but it was someone else who wrote the plays, and those plays are attributed to Shakespeare. इसको anti-Stratfordian theory कहते हैं. And then the forms of drama. right? Comedy of humor, satiric comedy, war of theatres, heroic tragedy, comedy of manners, artificial comedy, sentimental comedy, anti-sentimental comedy, theatre of absurd, epic theatre, theatre of cruelty, kitchen sink drama, comedy of menace, as it prop, thesis plays, expressionist drama, no plays, right? These are the various types of drama that you have to cover, or you could say that you will be covering in my upcoming classes, right? These are the types of drama that you have to cover. And he is the dramatist, Nobel winner George Bernard Shaw, and Irish dramatist, and it is his comment: he who can does, he who can't teaches, right? He who can does, जो कर सकता है करता है, जो नहीं कर सकता वो टीच करता है, वो आपके सामने है. And you can do and you will do. Another dramatist of the 20th century, once again he is Nobel winner, and he is Thomas Stance Eliot. He was a dramatist, he was a poet, he was a critic, he was an essayist. And do I dare disturb the universe? It is only T.S. Eliot who could disturb the universe, and you cannot qualify any examination without going through the poems and criticism of T.S. Eliot. T.S. Eliot is known for his poems like The Wasteland, like As Wednesday, like Four Quartets, like Portrait of a Lady, like Hippopotamus, and he is known for his essays like Metaphysical Poetry, Objective Hamlet, his concepts of artistic failure, objective correlative, tradition and individual talent, right? These are the popular, some of the essays that यहाँ पर मैं mention कर रहा हूँ T.S. Eliot के हैं. And while preparing for NET examination, आपको इन सारे essays को मैं cover करवाऊंगा आपके lecture के series में. I have measured out my life with coffee spoons. And this line is for you as well. If you are interested in qualifying the NET exam, then you have to measure out your life with a coffee spoon. And now this is Samuel Beckett, the most popular dramatist of the 20th century, once again a Nobel Prize winner. Samuel Beckett, theatre of the absurd, popularly known for his play. Which play? Waiting for Godot and The End Game. And these are the 8 ways of looking at Samuel Beckett. Imagining Professor Kafka and Beckett on the Beach by J.M. Coetzee. J.M. Coetzee is also a Nobel winner. He was born in Africa, settled in Australia. He won the Booker Prize twice, right? And this is the name of his essays, 8 Faces of Samuel Beckett. Not 8 faces, in fact, 8 ways at 8 ways of looking at Samuel Beckett. And then the next unit, the second unit, deals with poetry. And if you talk about poetry, poetry is the oldest genre in any literature. Poetry is the oldest genre in any literature, and is starting from Homer, Homer's Iliad and Odyssey, right? वहां से शुरू करना है और till today, यहां तक आपको आना है पोएट्री के सिलेबस में. These are a few definitions of the poet and poetry given by different philosophers, different poets. For example, Plato said that poetry is nearer to vital truth than history, and Plato was against history, it is alleged, but in fact he was not against poem, against poetry. Poetry is the finer and more philosophical than history. For poetry expresses the universal and history only the particular. This is the comment of Aristotle. One merit of poetry, few persons will deny, it says more and fewer words than prose. Voltaire, what is a poet? And according to him, a poet, an unhappy person who conceals profound anguish in his heart, but whose lips are so formed that as sighs and cries pass over them, they sound like beautiful music. Right? So these are the different definitions of different poets regarding poetry. And in the syllabus of poetry, you have to start from the classical poets: Homer, Pindar, Sappho, Longinus, Virgil, Ovid, Horace, Aesop, Hesiod, Lacan, ये क्लासिकल पोएट्स हैं. एक और है थियोक्रिटस. And from classical poet, this is the picture from Homer's epic Iliad, right? Homer's epic Iliad. This is Achilles, and Achilles is killing Hector in the Trojan War. And all of you are aware of the Trojan War. Why was it fought? It was fought for the sake of Helen, who was the queen of Menelaus, abducted by Paris, the prince of Troy. और हुआ क्या इसके बाद? A battle was fought, and in the battle, right, Troy would have won, but due to the overconfidence, Troy lost and it was set to fire. Trojan War made Troy was destructed, and this became the subject matter of Homer's two epics, Iliad and Odyssey. Right? And then Homer is wild, Virgil is garden, Ovid is Ovid. Joseph Edison का ही ऐसे है on Virgil, Homer and Ovid. And then I come to Renaissance. In Renaissance, you have Sir Philip Sidney and then Sir Edmund Spenser. And then Christopher Marlowe, Shakespeare, Michael Drayton, Philip Sidney, Edmund Spenser, Thomas Wyatt, Henry Howard. Development of sonnets from Petrarchan sonnet to English sonnet, right, from English sonnet to Shakespearean sonnet, also known as Elizabethan sonnets. How were they developed? How they came from Italy to England, and what was the rhyme of Petrarchan sonnet, and what became the rhyme of Shakespearean sonnet or Elizabethan sonnet. And then one more variation was there, that is called Spenserian sonnet, right? Sonnets variation. Then in 17th century, poetry basically divided into two groups. First half of the 17th century, जिसको Caroline and Jacobean कहते हैं. One was headed by Mr. Ben Jonson. They were called Tribes of Ben. They were called Cavalier poets, and other was headed by Mr. John Donne. They are called metaphysical poets. And in metaphysical poets, you have John Donne, Abraham Cooley, George Herbert, Michael Vaughan, Thomas Terham, Richard Crashaw, and Andrew Marvell. As far as Cavalier poetry is concerned, you have Robert Herrick, Richard Lovelace, Thomas Curry, and John Suckling. These are the important names only. There were not only these four, there were many, but they are the most prominent ones. They are the canonized ones, and questions are basically based on these poets. That's why I have taken the names of the poets here in the discussion of syllabus. Then neoclassical poetry headed by the poet laureate, first poet laureate of England, that was John Dryden. Right, restoration poetry, John Dryden, then Shadwell, Samuel Butler, George Etheridge, then Aphra Wayne. Aphra Wayne was the first professional female writer, literary role model for ages, and Virginia Woolf said that women writers should worship Aphra Wayne. In fact, Aphra Wayne was a spy of King Charles II, but she was novelist as well as a poetess, and she is better known as a novelist. In fact, for his novel, what was the name of the novel that was written by Aphra Wayne? You have to mention in the comment box. And then the great Alexander Pope. Right, the great Alexander Pope, his works, Essays on Man, Essay in Criticism, Moral Essays, his epic poems like The Rape of the Lock and The Dunciad. Right, ये इनके works हैं that you have to discover, you have to discuss, you have to prepare for your examination. Praise undeserved is satire in disguise. The proper study of mankind is man, and fools rush in where angels fear to tread. These are the important lines. And then I come to the transitional poets. Transitional poets were those poets who were writing in 18th century but not following the neoclassical concept of poetry, neoclassical precept of poetry. They were violating the norms of the age. उनको violate कर रहे थे, उनको follow नहीं कर रहे थे. Especially 18th century is the century of prose and reason, as was said by Matthew Arnold. But these poets were very close to the romantic period. right? They were neither truly neoclassical nor truly romantics, hence they are called transitional poets, right? Transitional poets, salient features of transitional poetry. Transitional poets, these poets believe in what Victor Hugo describes as liberalism in literature. Neoclassical poets were not liberal, they were restricted, they were bound, they had prepared principles, and nobody was allowed to go ahead of the principles. Nobody was allowed to violate the principles for poetry, right? But the traditional poets violated the rules. They didn't pay any heed to rules and conventions. They believed in individual poetic inspiration. They started believing in imagination. Their poetry is not altogether intellectual in content and treatment. Passion, emotion, and the imagination are valued by them, and these passion, emotion, and imagination became the true parameter for the romantic poets, right? Transitional poets, James Thomson, Oliver Goldsmith, Thomas Percy, Thomas Chatterton. Thomas Chatterton is the most important one, as he was like a god for the romantic poets. Wordsworth called him the marvelous boy. Samuel Taylor Coleridge wrote a monody on the death of Thomas Chatterton, and John Keats dedicated his first prominent volume of poetry, Endymion, to Thomas Chatterton. Right, Thomas Chatterton died at the age of just 17. James Macpherson, Thomas Gray, known for his elegies, William Collins, William Cooper, George Crabbe, Robert Burns, William Blake, and then this is the boy Thomas Chatterton, who is described as marvelous boy, the sleepless soul by Mr. William Wordsworth. And from rules, from regulation, from principles, we come to the world of nature. We come to the world of cuckoo, we come to the world of nightingale, we come to the world of skylark, we come to the world of cloud, we come to the world of daffodils, we come to the world of west wind, we come to the world of Grecian, and we come to the world of autumn. We come to the world of nature, right? And that world of nature is called romantic age, राइट रोमांटिक एज पर आते हैं और रोमांटिक एज में ये है 10,000 saw I at a glance, perfect imagination, right? Perfect imagination and perfect hyperbole as well. Everything is yellow, yellow, yellow. This is the true beauty of the new year, right? Water, water everywhere. The line written by Mr. Samuel Taylor Coleridge in his poem, The Rime of the Ancient Mariner, that was the first poem of the poetic anthology published by Wordsworth and Coleridge, popularly known, not popularly known in fact, but the title of the volume was Lyrical Ballads, containing 23 poems, 4 by Coleridge, 19 by Wordsworth. And these other romantic poets generally divided into two phases, younger generation and older generation. In older generation, you have Mr. Wordsworth, Mr. Robert Southey, Mr. Coleridge, Mr. Walter Scott, and in the younger generation, you have Lord Byron, P.B. Shelley, John Keats, Landor. And then romantic age is also very rich as far as essays are concerned. Charles Lamb, Hazlitt, they were basic essayists, and then Jane Austen, the popular, well-known novelist. She was also the part of romantic age, right? And then we come to the Victorian period. Victorian period starts in the mid of the romantic age, right? Like Browning, like Tennyson, like Matthew Arnold. Browning and Tennyson had started writing before even Queen Victoria came to the throne, but they were very ahead of the time, though they were inspired by the romantics, but they didn't follow the precept of the romantics, especially Tennyson. Tennyson started to write poems based on what? Based on what? And you will come to know in your complete batch, in your complete section. He is popularly known for Victorian compromise and industrialization का एज है ये. ये एज है क्रिस्टल पैलेस का, ग्रेट एग्जीबिशन का एज है, क्वीन विक्टोरिया का एज, चार्टिस्ट मूवमेंट का एज है, हंगरी 40s का एज है, 1990s का एज है, प्री रेफिलाइट्स का एज है, डिकेंस का एज है, हार्डी का एज है, जॉर्ज इलियट का एज है, ब्रांटी सिस्टर्स का एज है, जो पोएट्स एज वेल एज नॉवलिस्ट थी, राइट। Walter colonialism, the biggest event of the Victorian period, imperialism, and then this is the age, Victorian age is the age of theory of evolution. It is the age of Charles Darwin. He propounded the origin of a species, and he said that the world has been evolved. It is not made by God on a single day, but it has developed gradually. It has developed from boneless species to human being. That is the theory of evolution. And this was a revolt in a religious country like England, where a few years ago P.B. Shelley was expelled from the university because he declared himself an atheist. Right here, this theory of evolution, one side science was on its peak, other side religion was also there, and then there was a clash between the religious people and the scientific people, and then there was a need of Victorian compromise, and Mr. Tennyson tried to make right old order change, yielding place to new, lest God fulfills himself in many ways, lest one good custom should corrupt the world. Self-reverence, self-respect, self-knowledge, these three all are necessary for sovereignty. ये सब लाइन्स हैं अल्फ्रेड लॉर्ड टेनिसन की. Chartism, it was a revolt, it was a rebellion of the labor class, and it is also the age of Karl Marx and Friedrich Engels, and his principles are even read today, though by a small group of people जिनको Marxist आप कहते हो, Karl Marx and Friedrich Engels, and then Victorian compromise, and these are the important poets. Alfred Lord Tennyson, who remained the poet laureate from 1850 till his death in 1859. Mr. Robert Browning and Elizabeth Browning, they were husband and wife. Matthew Arnold, Gerald Manley Hopkins, and Thomas Hardy. Right, these are the important poets. Then we come to 20th century. 20th century was afflicted with two world wars, and after the end of First World War, during the First World War, a group of poets was fighting, and those poets who wrote the first-hand experience of the war, popularly called war poets. And war poets are Fried Sassoon, Robert Graves, Lawlin Wynne Griffith, Frank Richards, David Jones, right? These are the war poets, right? War poets, they used to write their experience once they get the chance for leisure, right? In the battlefield, right? These are the war poets. And then the giant of poetry, T.S. Eliot, The Westland, Quart 4 Quartets, Love Song of Gelfred Prufrock, As Wednesday, Portrait of Lady, Hippopotamus, Whispers of Immortality, Zironson, Prelude. And then 20th century poets, Robert Graves, Philip Larkin, William Butler Yeats, Ted Hughes, Sylvia Plath, Dylan Thomas, Lawrence, Ezra Pound, right? And then I come to the unit number 3, that is of fiction and short stories. Fictions में क्या क्या आपको पढ़ना है? What are the parts of fiction? It includes brief narratives, jests, anecdotes, sorry, study digressions, and after study digressions, short allegorical romances, moralizing fairy tales, short myths, historical legends, sketches, characters, tales, cartoons, literature, ट्विटरेचर और एक फेसबुक का भी लिटरेचर है. तो ये सब फिक्शन के आपके पार्ट हैं, और फिक्शन बेसिकली जो है डील्स विद नॉवेल बट नॉट ओनली विद नॉवेल्स, राइट. And then types of novels, romance, picaresque, historical, gothic, regional, epistolary, psychological, Bildungsroman, Kunstlerroman, mystery novels, realistic novels, Roma clef, that is also known as novel with the key, sentimental novels, revolutionary novels, science fiction, that is called sci-fi, fantasy, social novels, condition of England novels, and then magic realism. These are the popular divisions, not only divisions, but these are the popular divisions of novels. एक यहाँ पर missing भी है, that is stream of consciousness novel, और वो missing इसलिए भी है क्योंकि stream of consciousness novel is also called psychological novels. And then the four wheels of novels, right, who started their career in the mid of 18th century, right, कौन से हैं उसमें? Samuel Richardson, his novels Pamela, and then Clarissa, and then Henry Fielding, who is called the father of novels, known for his novels like Joseph Andrews, Tom Jones, and then Lawrence Stern, known for picaresque novels, right? The picaresque novel, and Tobias Smollett, popularly known for his single novel, right? Single novel जो उनकी popular है, Lives and Opinion of Tristram Shandy, though he wrote other novels as well. Tristram Shandy gained attracted the attention of a lot of writers, including Dr. Samuel Johnson. And Samuel Johnson was a harsh critic of this novel, and he said that nothing odd will do long, and Tristram Shandy did not last long. And I can say that Tristram Shandy was the first postmodern novel. When Salman Rushdie wrote his novel, the Booker-winning novel, right? Which one? The Midnight Children. He borrowed some points from this Tristram Shandy. Tristram Shandy was the first known example of intertextuality, right? He had, Mr. Tobias Smollett had borrowed several lines from different texts and pasted in the novel without even changing comma and full stop. And then Gothic novel, Horace Walpole, a first novel of Gothic genre, The Castle of Otranto, published in 1764. And then after English novel, you have to come to the other novels, other countries novels like African, American, Indian, ये सारे आपके उस novels में आएंगे. In African literature, Chinua Achebe, Walsenka, Ngugi wa Thiong'o, Nadim Gardner, J.M. Coetzee, Nuruddin Farah, Buchi Imecheta, Bessie Head, Amata Aidu. These are the novelists basically, and the playwright भी इसमें से एक है, Walsenka, and Walsenka was the first African to win the Nobel Prize for Literature. And Nadim Gardner also win the Nobel Prize, J.M. Coetzee won the Nobel Prize, right? इनको आपको पढ़ना है. And then in American, you know that there is no limit. In America, there is a particular movement जिसको बोलते हैं dark romanticism. Dark romanticism was headed by novelists like Nathaniel Hawthorne, who wrote the novel The Scarlet Letter, and then another novel of the same genre appeared, and the name of the novel was Moby Dick or The Whale. Right, and here there are number of poets like Walt Whitman, Robert Frost, Emily Dickinson, right, Sylvia Plath, Ezra Pound, and in the field of novels, Mr. Hemingway, the Nobel winner, Mr. William Faulkner, the Nobel winner, and then there is a sect in America called Harlem Renaissance. Harlem Renaissance was the cultural movement of the black people who wrote their histories, in their novels. Histories means autobiographical novels were written by the black Americans, black Afro-Americans, right? वो American literature का part है. Then world literature, Italian, French, Canadian, Australian, Caribbean, diaspora, post-colonial. And then Russian literature में जो popular writers हैं, Leo Tolstoy, Anton Chekhov, Vladimir Nabokov, Eugene Onegin, Mikhail Bakhtin, Fyodor Dostoevsky. And then non-fictional prose, that is unit number 4. And what are the elements of non-fiction? Non-fiction means basically they are written in prose. Prose writing that deals with real, not imagined people. Real, not imagined people and experiences, like biography, like autobiography, like essays, like histories, speeches, sermons, contracts, deeds, constitutions, laws, biographies, autobiographies, memoirs, लेटर्स, डायरी, जर्नल्स, ये सब नॉन फिक्शन में आते हैं. एंड नॉन फिक्शन राइटिंग was popular in almost all ages and very popular during the 18th century and restoration period as well, when three writers basically they were writing diaries. और उस डायरी राइटिंग में कौन कौन थे? सैमुअल पेपीज, थॉमस रोजर्स, और एक का नाम क्या था, याद है ना? याद है ना? बिकॉज यू आर गोइंग टू अपेयर इन द एग्जामिनेशन. मुझे तो सारा याद है. और इसी तरीके से आपको भी सब कुछ याद रखना है अपने एग्जाम तक. इफ यू वांट टू बी अ प्रोफेसर, इफ यू वांट टू गेट अ ह्यूज स्कॉलरशिप around 50,000 scholarship you will be getting for the next 5 years if you clear the examination with distinction, that is called JRF. JRF तक अगर आप पहुंच गए तो आपको 50,000 की स्कॉलरशिप मिलने वाली है. फिर तो बल्ले बल्ले. और इफ यू आर अ गुड स्कॉलर, इफ यू क्वालिफाई फॉर JRF, you will get your admission in universities like Delhi University, Jawaharlal Nehru University, BHU or Hyderabad or any central university, and that will definitely change the direction of your career. Bible, the Old Testament, the New Testament, right? ये सब non-fictional prose के part है. John Milton also wrote non-fictional prose, and the very popular is his speech called Areopagitica that he delivered against the Censorship Act of the Parliament 1643. And then after the assassination of Charles II, he wrote a book, not only a book but he wrote many books, and उसमें most popular ये है Tenures of Kings and Magistrates and Iconoclasts. Then the philosophers Thomas Hobbes, John Locke, Jean-Jacques Rousseau. Rousseau's book, The Social Contract, his novels like Julie, his book on education, right? ये सब इसी बुक में आएंगे, नॉन फिक्शनल में ही आएंगे. और कॉलरिज का जो वर्क आएगा, राइट, बायो, क्या नाम था कॉलरिज के वर्क का जो बहुत पॉपुलर है? दैट इज कॉल्ड हिज लिटरेरी ऑटोबायोग्राफी. नाम था वर्क का बायोग्राफिया लिटरेरिया, राइट. Origin of Species by Mr. Charles Darwin, वो भी नॉन फिक्शनल में ही आएगी. And Unit 5 is language, basic concepts, theories, pedagogies and English in use. Ferdinand de Saussure, father of modern linguistics. Noam Chomsky, right? Noam Chomsky gave the theory of universal grammar. And what are the points that you have to prepare for your examination from this unit? Communicative language teaching, functional communicative approach in English language, Pidgin, Creole, Inkhorn, writing hypothesis, interaction hypothesis, comprehensible output hypothesis, basic English projects. और इन सब पर questions paper में आ चुके हैं. And I guarantee I will deal with each and every topic. Each and every topic per you will have notes, you will have lectures and you will have questionnaires as well. सब पर आपको material content मिलेगा. Linguistics, right? Pidgin and Creole ये English के ही version से है. And then in English in India, history, evolution and future, as I discussed earlier, right? Newspapers, journals, magazines. First newspaper of India, Bengal Gazette. And then Thomas Macleish 1835 minute. तो हिस्ट्री से शुरू करेगा. 1835 minute on Indian education. And according to him, a single shelf of European library is far better than entire Oriental literature, right? And according to him, English should be introduced as a medium of instruction in the schools. And according to his minute, इसमें ये भी लिखा था कि ओरिएंटल स्कूल्स जो हैं दे मस्ट बी बैंड, राइट? गवर्नमेंट शुड नॉट प्रोवाइड एनी financial security, financial assistance to ओरिएंटल स्कूल्स लाइक गुरुकुल्स लाइक मदरसा, ये इसी की थ्योरी थी। और इंडिया के जो फर्स्ट नॉवलिस्ट इन इंग्लिश, फर्स्ट इंडियन राइटर हु रोट अ नॉवेल इन इंग्लिश, हिज नेम वाज बंकिम चंद्र चटर्जी। बंकिम चंद्र चटर्जी's novel Rajmohan's Wife, published in 1764, first novel in English, and then the first girl who wrote novel, right? Tarudatta. And after Tarudatta, the Mr. Gurudev Rabindranath Tagore, the first non-European who win the Nobel Prize for Literature in 1900, कब पाए थे याद है ना, 1913 or 14. And then Aurobindo, the poet of patriotism, and there was the movement in Bengal called Young Bengal Movement, and headed by Dorozio, who was also a poet, popularly known as the first poet of India who wrote in English, though he was not an Indian by birth, right? Then the pioneers of English novels में Raja Rao, Mulk Raj Anand, and Rashipuram Krishnaswamy Iyer Narayan, popularly called R.K. Narayan. And these three started writing during the colonial period, before India got independence. And then here you have a picture, Salman Rushdie along with Kiran Desai. Salman Rushdie, born in India, shifted to England, and from England he shifted to America, and he won the Booker Prize for his novels, for his second novel Midnight Children in 1981. And the same novel, when the Booker Prize completed its 25 years, it was given the Booker of Bookers in 1993. And when the Booker Prize completed its 40 years, the novel was adjudged as the best of the Bookers. And Arundhati Roy won the Booker Prize in 1997 for her novel The God of Small Things. And then in 2007, Miss Kiran Desai won the Booker Prize for her novel, and the name of the novel was The Inheritance of Loss. In the next year, the Booker Prize was given to another Indian, and his name was Arvind Ediga, and the name of the novel was White Tiger. So Indian literature is also very rich, very intelligent literature, and there are several questions in your paper from Indian section. Right, Sahitya Academy winner Shashi Tharoor, his book An Era of Darkness, it was the winner of English Sahitya Academy in English language in 2017, the biggest award in India in 2023. Right, Professor Neelam Sharan Gaur was awarded the Sahitya Academy for the novel Rikim in Rag Janki. And then here you see a name of a great woman, picture of a great woman who won the International Booker Prize for her novel Ret Samadhi, and novel was translated into English as Tomb of Stone, उसके लिए Tomb of Sand, and further she was awarded the International Man Booker Prize. Right, तो women का जो importance है वो इंडिया में बिल्कुल भी कम नहीं है, और इसी में अनीता देसाई's novels was nominated for Booker Prize 3 times, and she won the Guardian Prize for her novel The Village by the Sea. Guardian Prize is an award given to the literature written for children by anyone, right? Published in UK. Then the next unit, cultural studies, International Center for Cultural Studies. इसमें आप रेस थ्योरी पढ़ेंगे, पोस्ट कॉलोनियल थ्योरी पढ़ेंगे, राइट, गेज थ्योरी बहुत सारी थ्योरीज हैं. And then literary criticism and literary theory, unit number 7 or 8 and 9, and these are the books on literary criticism. Don't be so nervous कि इतना सारा कैसे पढ़ेंगे, मैं हूं ना. Literary criticism and literary theory, and then types of literary criticism: moral criticism, dramatic construction, formalism, new criticism, new Aristotelian criticism, psychoanalytical criticism, Jungian criticism, Marxist criticism, reader response theory, structuralism, semiotics, post-structuralism, deconstruction, new historicism, cultural studies, post-colonial criticism, feminist criticism, जेंडर और क्वीर स्टडीज, ये कल्चरल स्टडीज और लिटरेरी थियोरी के हिस्से हैं। और लिटरेरी क्रिटिसिज्म की क्या है वो तो आपको पहले ही बता चुका हूं, राइट। लिटरेरी थियोरी, कल्चरल थियोरी, एंड देन you have here two giants, two greatest philosophers of 20th century, Michel Foucault, who wrote the book The History of Sexuality in 3 books, known for his archaeology of knowledge, known for his discourse on discourse and power. And then you have Derrida, Jacques Derrida, the propagator of deconstruction theory, the writer of the book of grammatology that was translated by another Indian, Gayatri Chakravarti Spivak. Right, Derrida wrote originally in French. And then here two post-colonialists, Homi Bhabha, known for his theory of hybridity, theory of ambivalence. And then you have Edward Said, who wrote the book Orientalism, and then Culture and Imperialism, the Philistinian scholar. And then here are two images, two pictures of two new historians, Louis Montrose and Stephen Greenblatt, known for his theory of new historicism or cultural materialism. And then finally you have the recent latest theory जिसको आप कहोगे eco-criticism. Eco-criticism deals with nature, nature's relationship with literature, how literature has nurtured nature and how nature has been exploited in different works. ये पूरी criticism है जिसको eco criticism कहते हैं. And then unit number 10, research methods and materials, popularly called as research methodology. Right, research methodology, how an hypothesis is formed, how thesis is written, right, what are the elements of a thesis, what is the difference between dissertation and thesis, how to write an article, how to write a research paper, right. These are the subject, these are the area where you have to work on a practical and scientific approach. How to write research paper, these are the two popular methodologies, MLA, modern linguistics, right, एक है, और दूसरा जो है जिसको शिकागो कहते हैं, दोनों अमेरिकन हैं और दोनों अलग अलग स्टाइल्स को फॉलो करते हैं, मॉडर्न लिंग्विस्टिक्स एसोसिएशन एंड द शिकागो मैनुअल ऑफ स्टाइल. एंड देन फाइनली आपको पढ़ना क्या है, जो छूट गए हैं उनमें से जो अवार्ड विनर्स हैं, वो चाहे वो नोबेल विनर्स हो, चाहे वो पुलित्जर प्राइज विनर हो, चाहे वो गार्डियन अवार्ड विनर्स हो, चाहे वो बुकर प्राइज विनर्स हो, साहित्य अकेडमी विनर्स हो, ज्ञानपीठ अवार्ड विनर हो, हिंदू लिटरेरी अवार्ड विनर हो, इन सबको आपको पढ़ना है, फाइनल टच देना है आपको अपने प्रिपरेशन का. अब कहां से पढ़े? व्हाट टू रीड, द ग्रेटेस्ट क्वेश्चन जो जनरली पूछ लेते हो, सर बुक्स बता दीजिए. तो ये कुछ स्पेसिमेंस यहाँ पर दिए हुए हैं जो आपको पढ़ना चाहिए. अगर आप पढ़ना चाहें तो, और ना पढ़ना चाहें तो मैं हूं ही, है ना. The Rutledge History of Literature in English, Britain and Ireland, and this is the Oxford Companion to English Literature. Oxford Companion to English Literature. This book is also available on Google for free of cost. You can download the PDF for free, but you will have to buy this one. It is not for free. And then M.H. Abrams, A Glossary of Literary Terms. You can also download the PDF version of this book for free. And then Literary Theory Today, written by P.K. Nair, Pramod Kumar Nair. And this book especially is very important, and it has the topics like structuralism, post-structuralism, deconstruction, psychoanalytical criticism, feminism, Marxism, cultural studies, post-colonial studies, postmodernism, lesbian and gay theory, African American and literary theory. So this book will cover all the topics of cultural studies and literary theory. So these two books are very essential for 2 units of NET examination. And apart from these two, one is also there, two is in fact there, Peter Barry, beginning theory, and then the history of literary criticism and theory. History of literary criticism, there is an entire unit on literary criticism starting from Aristotle to प्रेजेंट, राइट। वो पूरी हिस्ट्री आपको यहाँ पर मिल जाएगी, जिसमें आपको प्लेटो मिल जाएंगे, होरेस मिल जाएंगे, होमर प्लेटो मिल जाएंगे, होरेस मिल जाएंगे, लॉन्जाइनस मिल जाएंगे, राइट। लॉन्जाइनस के बाद सिडनी मिल जाएंगे, सिडनी के साथ साथ मिल जाएंगे उसमें आपको ड्राइडन, ड्राइडन के साथ आपको मिल जाएंगे पोप, पोप के बाद वहां पर मिल जाएंगे कौन, पोप के बाद मिलेंगे आपको डॉक्टर सैमुअल जॉनसन द लिटरेरी डिक्टेटर, देन मैथ्यू अर्नल्ड, टी.एस. एलियट, राइट। सब कोई वहां एफ.आर. लीविस तक आपको यहां पर मिल जाएगा। हिस्ट्री ऑफ लिटरेरी क्रिटिसिज्म एंड थ्योरी में M.A.R. हबीब, राइट, born in India, went to England, lived in America। और पीटर वेरी, ये भी बुक आपको PDF वर्जन मिल जाएगी। एंड देन थैंक यू। This was all about the syllabus of UGC NET and about the topics that I will be covering in my lectures, right? And if you are preparing, if you are going, if you are interested in qualifying your NET examination that is to be conducted in 2024, then you have to start from today without any single thought, without wasting any single second. You have to be serious, you have to be result oriented, you have to focus on your एग्जामिनेशन। तो आज से ही ज्वाइन करिए, आज से ही फॉलो करना शुरू कर दीजिए और रिजल्ट विल बी योर्स। थैंक यू सो मच फॉर वाचिंग मी, थैंक यू सो मच फॉर सब्सक्राइबिंग द चैनल, थैंक यू सो मच फॉर शोइंग योर इंटरेस्ट इन UGC NET। and this video, the lectures that I am going to give, video lectures that will help you not only get through UGC NET but assistant professor examination, state level eligibility test, PhD entrance, CUET, and you will be a complete man जब आप ये कह पाओगे I am MA in English literature। And these lectures will definitely boost your confidence whenever you go to face the interview। तो आपको पता चलेगा कि हाँ आपको किसी सर ने ढंग से पढ़ाया था। तो थैंक यू सो मच। इन्हीं वर्ड्स के साथ जय हिंद आप सभी को, मिलते हैं नेक्स्ट लेक्चर में वेरी सुन। बाय बाय, टेक केयर, गुड लक, ऑल द बेस्ट।